So they won 5 games last year. Their over-under for this year is 8.5. Do you think they win over 8.5 games this season?
I mean, I think it's going to be tough for them to win 9 games or 10 games. So that over-under makes sense. It's probably even a little high considering who's Justin Herbert throwing the football to, right?
Exactly.
You don't have his 2 stud wide receivers, and Austin Eckler's
Or
gone.
running back.
Right. So I'm not sure where they're getting their points from. And just to show you where we're at with Charger football, no knock on Josh Palmer, but who?
Well, Josh Palmer.
Yeah, who?
He said
Josh Palmer's now the voice
He said they're paying
of
attention
the
to
Chargers.
details, but it's hard to miss these details. Like, these are their wide
Those are
receivers
the
last
details.
year, and these are their wide receivers this year.
Quentin Johnson.
Josh Palmer had 2 touchdowns last year and 38 catches, and he's now the spokesperson for the Charger offense. Sure, he's a great guy. Obviously, Mike Williams leaving and Keenan Allen leaving gives him more opportunity to get the ball thrown his way. But who?
You know what? I'll say this. I kind of understand where Josh Palmer's coming from. Obviously, Jim Harbaugh's leaving Michigan, just won a national championship.
Yep.
Now he's at the pro level. So when he gets up there and he says they're more into detail, I think John Harbaugh has recognized that he doesn't have the talent that they had the last year or the previous years. So as a coach, you know that you need to go and emphasize every little single thing because those details can actually win you football games.
Sure.
It's hard to win in this league. So when you don't have the talent, you have to maximize every aspect of a kid's or a player's game to get the best out of him because you know when you run into Kansas City, you know you're outmatched athletically, coaching,
sure,
from a quarterback standpoint, basically every position. So those little details that they need to win football games, he's really honing and emphasizing.
So the comparison, it's the same thing as what we're talking about with Danny Hurley. Right? Danny Hurley's going to a place where the cupboard's half full.
It's a different style, though.
Harbaugh's a taskmaster type. He's an angry guy on the sideline. He's a get-in-your-face type of coach. Now he's at the NFL level. Not a lot of talent outside of the most important position, quarterback there, which means kids will have an opportunity to become stars with Justin Herbert there and Harbaugh there. But it's a great comparison. How about this? Has it ever happened before where both football and basketball, the national champions, both lost their head coaches in the same year to the pros? And Harbaugh going to the Chargers, I think is very similar. If Danny Hurley does get a deal done with the Lakers, it's a half-empty cupboard. There's some big names there, but who's going to be the youngster that now steps up and becomes a meaningful part of the team?
Totally different roster, totally different line of players and athletes. So, when he gets up there and talks about the details, they need everything they can get out of Jim Harbaugh from a teaching standpoint to help them not finish last in the division.
I think that these group of receivers have a great concept of them going out there and working hard, and they could become somebody. They don't have nobody else. Everybody else is doubting them. So they come out and play the way they can play and how they
have a chance to.
They have a chance to be those
very much
guys.
like Austin Reeves and Hoochie Mama.
But
Austin Reeves.
And they ain't done nothing.
Well, you was on the Austin Reeves band.
No, I was not.
Yes, you was. Yes, you
Austin
was.
Reeves is the Josh Palmer of the LA Lakers.
You was on hit the bandwagon.
But you know what? I'll say this versus John Harbaugh and Danny Hurley, NBA to NFL. John Harbaugh, if you look at Quentin Johnson, he was ranked the #1 wide receiver coming out of the draft a year ago from TCU.
Yep.
He really hasn't flourished into the player that he's
Jim Harbaugh, but
or the team wants to. Now you have Josh Palmer, young wide receiver, only had two touchdowns last season. So those younger guys who have not had success, they're going to listen to Jim Harbaugh and what he has to say versus a LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
No, I'm talking about the younger guys on the Lakers, but it's an interesting comparison how in one calendar year you're talking about the national championship football coach going to the pros and allegedly, apparently, possibly the national champion basketball coach also going to the pros, which also tells you it's a bit of an indictment on college sports right now. That you have the 2 biggest names in their respective sports. Obviously, Nick Saban retired. He didn't go pro again. But you've got Harbaugh, most recognizable coach in all football at the college level, and Danny Hurley, who had just built the beginnings of a legitimate dynasty, both saying, the college game, I can't do it anymore. I got to take my coaching skills to the pros, which is, to me, an indictment on college sports.
Moving on to second and football, we got an interesting detail about Russell Wilson's contract. Remember, he signed that $1.2 million one-year contract with the Steelers. However, it also comes with a no-trade clause. Now, one would speculate that there is a no-trade clause. In case he is not the starting quarterback, they cannot simply trade him away to a place he does not co-sign on. Now, that adds a question, Mr. Carton. Do you think Russell Wilson is the starter week 1 through the end of the season?
He's the starting quarterback of Steelers every single game this year, and we have to stop this nonsense that he's not. You know, he's basically there for free because Denver's paying him all the money, and he is the veteran quarterback with success on his resume. Justin Fields can't carry his jockstrap right now as a quarterback in the NFL. He's younger, he's faster, he's more athletic. Yes, yes, yes. But he's not as good a quarterback as Russell Wilson. And here's the thing that gets me. Russell Wilson had a no-trade clause in Seattle. Russell Wilson had a no-trade clause in Denver. So why would we assume that he wouldn't have a no-trade clause in Pittsburgh? He's always had one.
I think this is the first time I've ever seen a player in the NFL have a no-trade clause with a one-year contract.
Possibly true, too.
$1 million.
Yeah, now look, he can be traded. He's just got to approve it.
Oh, he's going to be there for 1 year regardless.
He's not getting traded. I disagree with you, Plaxico
He's going to be there for 1 year regardless. Denver's picking up, what, $30 million of his salary?
Every penny
and the Steelers got him for $1 million. They stole him away.
Yes,
You know, to get another quarterback to play for the...
Well, remember, Plaxico Burris, your guy, Sean Payton, thought that the Broncos had a better chance to win this year with Zach Wilson as opposed to Russell Wilson.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know what film he's been watching.
Hey there, thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.